Hi everyone, it's Lori here again. Forgive me as I talk to you literally from my bed because my husband is building things in the basement, and so I'm trying to get away from the noise, but I just wanted to get this message out to you now. So I want you to think back to the last time you stood in a long line. So maybe you were at the DMV or you were at an amusement park and you were trying to will time to move faster, but it only seemed to slow down. You looked around, and others were impatiently like scrolling on their phones, trying to escape what was happening to them at that moment. Perhaps you were doing the same. And my guess is that that line seemed to last forever, right? And now I want you to think back to a time when you were, maybe sitting with a dear friend, having coffee, talking about your lives together, laughing, and that experience went by in a matter of what felt like seconds, even though perhaps you were doing that for hours. We've been taught that time is external to us, that there's a clock on the wall, and that we can use that to measure this phenomena of seconds, minutes, and hours. Yet our experience of time shifts. So the internal um, way we live in time or relate to time shifts. And, so we felt this when we're in a flow state. We lose hold of the concept of time, instead reveling in the presence we feel as we write or draw or run. And you're thinking, what in the world does this have to do with birth, Lori? Why are we talking about this? Well, I recently listened to a birth story where the woman who was talking mentioned that time for her seemed to cease to exist while she was in labor. And you may have heard of this phenomena talked about called labor land. A lot of people say, they're in labor land when they're in labor and they no longer know what time it is or how much time has passed or whether it's day or night. If you've already had a baby, and especially if you had a physiological birth, you've likely already experienced this. I know that my perception of how long different phases of my births took does not line up with what the clock on the wall said. Indeed, when I was most present, when I was intensely focused on surrendering to the waves that were bringing my baby closer to me, time ceased to exist. It didn't feel shorter or longer. There just was no such concept. And so as I listened to this new mother speak of her similar experience, I had this aha moment that this is another way that birth can help us to find our power. So experienced meditators, Izzy, my dog, she wants up. Experienced meditators will often cite similar experiences. They report a diminishment in their sense of time as they go deep into meditation. But in order to experience that, it can take years of a daily meditation practice. And so that can feel unattainable for so many of us. But birth offers us the opportunity to know that we too are capable of bending time, almost as a necessity as we seek to manage the intensity of birth. And so while there is that necessity, that's also a gift that birth gives us. And once you know that you can bend time, in my view, the sky's the limit. So while I experienced what I will call no time during birth, it wasn't until years later when I was reading a book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, amazing book, I recommend it, that I intellectually understood the power of my mind in bending time. And now I have a sticky note over the clock in my office that says I create time. So in each instance, when I look at the clock thinking that maybe I don't have enough time, I'm reminded that the way that I experience time is inside of me. It is not external to me. And I've been able to accomplish so much more in so much less time than I would have thought before. And so birth is one of these experiences as well, where time no longer exists and you can experience that. So you can know that this is true for you, because I think a lot of you right now are thinking, what are you talking about, Lori? Have you lost your mind? But if you experience it in birth, then why can't you experience it in other areas of your life? And what would you do if time were not an issue? What would you do if you could bend time? So, have you experienced Laborland already, or are you excited to experience Laborland soon? And if you have, or once you do, I would love to hear if it's changed your perspective on time. So please leave a comment, subscribe, like my channel. There will be more videos coming soon. I'm so excited to hear your experiences, and I am leaving you with gratitude and love on this cozy winter day. Thank you so much.